So, this is my reflection journal that I badly misunderstood, but here we are. In a lot of ways, I've been thinking about this lately. In a lot of ways, I mean, testing officially started back in March, I think. And I think in a lot of ways, this test started for me last year. And the reason why I say that is, I went through some really dark shit, end of relationship, like, the details don't matter. But I really feel like if I look back to who I was back then, as opposed to who I am now, I think those two people couldn't be more different. And the reason why I say that is because back then I invested my time and I invested my effort into the wrong things, primarily, but also the wrong people. I didn't invest my time. I mean, I would show up to class, like I was doing all my things that I was supposed to do. Um, but like, even when I look back at my efforts then, like, could I have done better? Could I have been made more of a concerted effort to be better, to take better care of my body, for instance? Like, I wasn't doing really anything that I was supposed to do, just like as a man, just to function as a man. Like, I was kind of just existing. And um, that's a waste. I look back at how much time I wasted just being that guy who'd show up with a smile, teach kickboxing, go to black belts, do what I could, and then go home. But like, I wasn't present, if that makes sense. I wasn't like, my body was present, my mind was other places. And my teacher told me to stay present through all of that, and I don't think I really truly understood what that meant um until much later. And as I was going through the pit that I put myself in, because this video honestly is a reflection, but it's also accountability. Um, because part of no one teaches you how to be a man, and I think part of being a man is accepting full throated accountability. Because I mean, listen, I've accepted every ass chewing in my adult life that I've earned. If I've earned it, let me hear what you have to say, right? And that's again if I've earned it. If you're just yelling at me for no reason, that's a different thing. Um, I forgot what I lost my train of thought. Damn it. Anyways, so I'll come back to it if it comes back to me. It's fine. That's what's so hard about talking to myself. Oh yeah, what I was saying. No one teaches you how to be a man. So, and no one teaches you. If no one teaches you how to be a man, like, you have to really teach yourself to hold yourself accountable. Like, you got to ask. Again, this is something that's been said to me for 11 years. You got to ask more of yourself than anyone else is going to ask of you. And I was not doing that. And I'm a sensei, so you know, black eye on my record right there. But as I was going through that, and I removed myself from social media, and I started to really reflect on how I got here, why I was like this, why I took things so hard, it was because uh, I invested myself into the wrong people. And I invested myself into people who were only interested in what I could do for them, and not in people who were trying to, not fully anyway, but like, not in people who were positive for my growth, who weren't. I invested myself into people who were much to my detriment, and as far as growth, because I always wanted like an upward trajectory. But like, here's the thing: when you have certain types of people in your life, it could be friends, family, girlfriends, wives, husbands, whatever. If you have certain types of people in your life, some people are just drowning. And if they're not drowning, they're treading water. And if you keep hanging around with them, you're going to develop that same rotten, stale mindset that you're either treading water, or they're just going to tie themselves around your fucking ankles and you're going to drown with them. So as I, and this video is also about like kind of like transformation and rebirth too. As I went through that and I started investing in myself, taking better care of my body, refraining from alcohol, not, I mean, I don't do drugs anyway, but not doing that either. Um, Going through all of that, like stone cold sober, which is the best thing that I could have done for myself. And it was at the direction of my teaching, to be fair. But going through all that stone cold sober, it allowed me to really break down where I came from, why I was the way I was, and how to fix it. Because right now, after removing myself from Facebook, like I still fuck around on Instagram and stuff, but that's mostly while I'm watching paint dry. Like there's nothing important that's going on there. And I also changed my name online because, to be more appropriate for my title, because like that's another thing that I neglected. Uh I wasn't accountable to my title as sensei. I was not doing that. And, much to my shame, but this is about accountability, so I got to tell the truth about that. I got to own that. And I have. And I've turned things around 100%. I'm, instead of being I mean, you always have to be self-critical to some extent, right? But not so much that it's going to be to your detriment. And I realized too that like there was a wounded child like inside of me. A wounded child that like I knew was there, but I thought I healed from this shit, and I found out the fucking real bad hard way that I didn't. And when everything went down, I was like already in a real bad depressive state that like, I couldn't, no, I couldn't, I could have done something about it. I just didn't. And when all of that happened, it was just like a nuclear bomb went off inside my psyche. And for the first time in my life, really, I allowed my emotions to get the better of me. That has never happened before in my entire life. Like I've gotten angry, but not like explosively angry. I've been sad, but not like outwardly sad, and pissing all over the fucking internet my darkest emotions. What was that worth? Fucking ugats, right? So fast forward now, and I realized, some time ago that like I'm actually happy. And when I say that I'm happy, I'm genuinely happy. I like my job. I like teaching martial arts. I like taking martial arts. But like before I wasn't present in those things. I was just existing. And that's no way to live. But like now I'm actually happy, and it has nothing to do. I mean, it has to be fair, partially to do with the woman in my life, because she's great. Like she doesn't expect monetary gifts and shit like that from me. She doesn't expect it. And that's the kind of thing I was talking about, where I came from. It's just like I never wanted to be in a situation where someone was only interested in what I could do for them. I wanted a partnership, and I didn't have that before. So what I came to realize that what I was mourning and what I was so upset over, I might as well be just crying over something that never fucking existed to begin with, because it wasn't there. When I would talk to her, she said something to me, I forget exactly how she put it, but she was like, "Oh, I didn't want you to get depressed again, because I don't want to deal with all the ups and downs." Here's the thing: when you actually love somebody, you'll do anything for them, and that means showing up when it's hard, right? So right away, I realized that like, oh, you're not for me anyway. See ya, right? And listen, that hurt, but like, at least I had perspective that I didn't have before, and that's what set me on my trajectory. Because like a lot of times, the truth will hurt your feelings, but it's the truth. If someone's telling you something honestly, you don't have to like it. You don't have to like it, and no one's saying you have to like it. But if they're telling you something honestly, it's for a reason, right? If they're being honest with you, if they're being brutally honest with you, and sometimes like even through all this shit, even at my worst moments, like I still showed up for my friends going through something similar. A friend of mine, her dad was dying, and like when I just wanted to crawl, be a bitch and fucking curl up in a ball and be by myself and cry over something that like was never mine to begin with. I still showed up for people. And I showed up for other people who just whatever. But like, the other thing too is I realized that like I never really showed up for myself. Meaning I didn't really show up for that wounded little child inside of me. I kind of just left him by the wayside and he was neglected. And because he was neglected, nothing ever got fixed. It kind of just festered until like a pimple, like a deep-seated pimple, and then one day something came along and popped it. And now I'm covered in fucking pus, right? So when I started showing up for that little boy and starting holding and showing up for other people, doing for other people, and serving the people in my community, things really turned around for me mentally, spiritually, especially because there was this one morning, it was crazy. I had this app. Just a side note, I had this app on my phone, and it was like a screensaver thing, and like every couple days or every morning or whatever, it would change to like a different Bible verse. And I deleted the app because it was like one of those things where it was a free trial, but if you kept it for, X amount of days, they start charging. So I got rid of it. Somehow, and this is really the first time I think God spoke directly to me. Somehow, I deleted the app. It wasn't just like removing it from the home screen or something. Like, I fucking deleted it. It was gone. I woke up and there was a Bible verse. A Bible verse I can't remember right now, but it was, what are the odds that it would say this very specific thing to me? That just honestly changed the entire trajectory of where I was. And I surrendered to it. And that was the first time in my life that I was humbled enough to be spoken to by God. So when I started showing up for that kid, showing up for me, and showing up for the people around me, everything got better. I got better. I changed in a way that I didn't think was ever possible. I changed in a way that, like, I love in a different way now. I care about things in a different way now because I'm present for them. I don't care about them in some abstract, that's in the background kind of way. Like, whatever I'm doing, it could be at my work, it could be teaching a class, it could be taking a class. Whatever I am doing, I am in that moment doing the best that I can with what I got. I mean, I just got better from an injury, and I did the best I could through my curriculum that I could, even though sometimes it hurt. Doesn't matter. This is what we're doing right now. I made sure not to hurt myself further. Thank God that didn't happen. But, like, it doesn't matter if it's uncomfortable. I'll take medicine later. This is what we're doing now. Right? And all that matters to me now is getting better and helping those around me to get better. Whatever it is. It could be martial arts. It could be, outside life that doesn't have anything to do with the school. But all I'm focused on right now is the next mountain and this mountain, and just making my life, my children's life, the students in our school, my friends, I want their lives to be better because I'm better. I want to be a better presence in their life. So I want to be here to be a positive influence. And I don't want to be here to be one of those motherfuckers that helps you drown. Because those are the type of people who just circle the fucking drain, and eventually they get sucked into it. It's like falling into a black hole. Once you go past that event horizon, it's fucking over, brother. So this test has been about transformation. It's been about accountability. It's been about showing up for that boy who nobody ever showed up for, and taking him along for the ride and be like, listen, I'm sorry you got left behind, but we're going to finish this together. Right? I'm sorry you got left behind, but let me show you how it's done. Because you deserve better. Right? And that's what I want to instill in other people. Like, I just want to be here, and I want to be present. And I want to help the next generation of black belts. I want to help the next generation of people climbing the mountain, achieving their dream. Because honestly, being a black belt, I was too young to really appreciate what it meant when I was younger. But like when I got my first degree black belt, that was something that I never thought that I could do. And then I did it. And then I never, I told my teacher in passing one night that I wanted to be a sensei. And then I did that too. But I also took that for granted. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade here. I'm not doing that anymore because I realized that Sensei Marcus is somebody who I want to be. I want to be the person that Sensei. But one of my Wiccans friends that said that Sensei Marcus is like my rising sign. I don't know what that means, but that makes sense when I say it out loud in this context. So I want to aspire to be who I think Sensei Marcus is. And I'm not saying that because that's what you want to hear. That's something that I've internalized, and that's something that I'm working for and working towards. But after, going through all that shit and, experiencing this honestly like life-changing transformation, I'm experiencing happiness for the first time, like true happiness, not just like passing happiness, like, oh, I got a new thing, or hey, I got a new car, or oh, we got a new job, or cool, I'm making money. It's like genuine happiness where I'm content with me. And I have never had that before. And I'm going to be 40 in September. That's a long fucking time to not be happy with yourself. That's a long fucking time to not be happy in your own skin, But I'm happy in my skin, and I'm proud of myself for climbing out of the pit and putting myself back on track and being a person who not only stands up for himself, because I wasn't doing that either, not only stands up for himself, but has healthy boundaries with people. I've excommunicated a couple of people from my circle, for not that long ago, because like, if you're asking me for advice, right, and I'm not perfect, I'm not Jesus, I don't cure blindness, and I don't walk on water. But if you're asking me for my honest opinion, you're asking me for advice, and I'm trying to give it to you, and you're doing the polar opposite of the shit, and you're making things worse, sorry, you gotta go. And I will love you from afar. And if you fix it, cool. But I will no longer entertain the people who are going to be anchors to my success. I will no longer, in terms of, I say anchor, I mean like, you're swimming in water and someone's a fucking anchor and they tie yourself to your ankle and then now you're drowning. Or now you're fighting to tread water. Fuck that. So I will no longer, tolerate those kind of people in my life. I won't tolerate that kind of shit and that kind of failure. Because failure is an option, right? Not always. Sometimes you'll fail, but, first attempt in learning. And as long as you take that information and do what you're supposed to after that, then you didn't actually, failure is a part of life. You're going to fail at some point. You're going to fail something, whether it's a test, a relationship, whatever. But as long as you take your failures and you use those to succeed. Michael Jordan said, I failed over and over and over again, and that's why I succeed. And there's a lot of truth to that. So I'll conclude, I've been talking for 20 minutes now. I'll conclude this with this. I want to thank you for slapping the shit out of me when I needed it. I want to thank you for being in my corner. And I want to thank you for being my teacher. It's an honor still to be your student. It's a bigger honor to be your sensei, and I will not abuse that privilege ever again. This has been a wild ride, but one that needed to happen, because otherwise I wouldn't be this. I wouldn't be somebody that I can be proud of, were it not for that. So sometimes you got to burn to ash, to fertilize the ground to grow into something better. And that's what happened to me. And that's okay. If I knew that I would be this person on the tail end of it, I'd do it all over again. So I'm looking forward to the tournament. I'm looking forward to seeing the candidates get their black belt. Been with some of those kids a long time. And, just because my path had kind of split doing the kickboxing, I wasn't there for a lot of their training, but I was always there to root them on from the sidelines. Super proud of them, super happy to be there, and I'm proud and humbled to be a sensei in our school. So I'll conclude with just saying thank you, and I hope I made you proud. Even though I misunderstood this assignment, I hope I made you proud in this testing cycle. And I look forward to the future, and I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be here right now in the present. Not before, not after. I'm happy to be here right now. Thanks again.